You can reply and chat if you like. Don't worry, I don't bite. So, welcome to CTIS-22. We're talking about digital forensics. That's okay, Alberto, no worries. I'm not going to poke at you for not having one. That's quite all right. I will be your instructor for this course. My name is Aladame. A little bit about myself here. I've been teaching for Merced now for about 3 years, going on 4 years this September, so I've been here for some time. Do any of you know Professor Selly by any chance? I think that is a maybe. So I relay with him with a lot of this stuff, so I work with him hand in hand sometimes. So some of the stuff might seem familiar to you because he's covered it briefly, but here we go a little bit more in depth. Sorry. So what is forensics? What's digital forensics, right? You're all probably wondering, scratching your heads here. It's the study of digital files and ways to hide things, recover things, and look at things from a different angle, essentially. You will be dealing with a couple things that can get a little uncomfortable in terms of subject matter, so please let me know if that is a problem and we can try to find an alternative. But don't worry, I won't get too graphic or anything, but I talk about murders and cases where it's kind of relevant, where you see things like that, etc., as examples. But there's two ways to go about this. You can go through the corporate route or the security route. Circling back to a bit about myself, like I said, I've been teaching for about 4 years. I have a master's in cybersecurity. I have a bachelor's in information technology, and I'm working on getting my CRISP security certification. But I have done forensics itself in the past. I was actually going to get picked up by the FBI to work for them as a digital investigator, but I chose to went the teaching route instead. So that's why I'm here before you in front of this webcam. And if you're wondering about this class is asynchronous. Have any of you ever had an asynchronous class before by any chance? Anybody? Okay. So asynchronous is essentially everything I have done here is pre-recorded, and you essentially get to follow on in lectures and videos and lab. For me, office hours are every Friday. Let me share my screen here. We'll get to that momentarily. Where shit, here it is. Let me share screen. It's a syllabus. When you get a chance, please look over it. All the information you need is there mostly. So we've been through some of this already, but here's essentially what we're going to be covering in class. So basically, these 4 items here is essentially how the whole class is built. And we're going to be covering a lot of things. And yes, the book is required because you will be doing a good amount of book work because all the labs come from the book. So keep this in mind, though. This book is kind of old now, unfortunately. Now, a lot of the items we need to do the labs we can't run. So some of the labs we're not going to do, which are posted. So you won't have to worry about it. But there's a bunch of other cool stuff that I wish we could use, but the publisher doesn't offer that anymore, or you can't get it without paying a bajillion dollars is what it feels like. And sadly, that's how it goes. The book you need is right here. That's this guy. It's a 2019 book. It's Guide to Computer Forensics. You will do book work out of it, obviously, but it's a bunch of labs. You're not going to install any programs really until week 3, and week 3 is the real heavy portion of this class. So if you need time, to work on stuff a little bit longer, tell me. I'm pretty flexible, very easygoing when it comes to stuff. I get it. Life happens. I'm sure I'm not the only class you're taking, right? How many of you have a full load above 12 units right now? Okay, tough crowd today. That's okay. No worries. This stuff can be kind of mental. There are things, though, you do have to finish by the first week. If I remember correctly, it's the pre-course quiz. Oh, hey, you're almost full-time there, Alberto, so don't worry. You'll be okay. There is, like I was saying, 2 things you need to complete to be enrolled in this class to complete it. One is the pre-syllabus quiz, and the other one is the weekly discussion. So get that done by Friday, please. That is like non-essential. Like we cannot negotiate it. It's for attendance purposes. Like they have to see this on administration's end, not just my end. So as I'm sharing here, grades are all here. That's how it breaks down. There are no quizzes, just a midterm and a final. The midterm for me is week 4. Okay, so 4th weekend, midterm. 8th weekend, final week, final. Pretty straightforward. It can be pretty heavy, Diego. So like, I'm just saying, guys, if you need a day or 2 extra, send me a message on Canvas. I'll probably go, yeah, no worries, go for it. Just send me the items through Canvas later. I'm flexible. Like I get it. Life happens. I was in your chair for like 10 years, honestly. took me forever to get out of community colleges. I was stuck. But if you want like to talk about stuff like that, you need help with a resume, you need help with a letter of intro or anything, let me know. That's what I'm here for. I'm a resource for you guys. Like I said, I don't want anyone being stuck here for 10 years like I was at one point in community college. So, that's where my train of thought comes from. So learning activities, here's our whole schedule. Like it's all laid out week 1, week 2, week 3. That's also going to be in your calendar in Canvas. If you've seen it before, it's all there. Like, see, week 3 is really big. I know, but it's a lot of stuff you're going to be getting your hands on that week. Because, I'm building the foundation, right? When you build a house, you don't just build a house, put the frame up, pour cement later, right? First thing you do is prep the ground, pour cement, have the foundation of how this stuff works. So week 1 is just me introducing you to like what is, let's say, forensics, how did it evolve. Like, I get it. It's new stuff for a lot of you. Personally, when I've dealt with forensics in the past, it's been a lot of middle school kids, and not trying to get graphic. Don't worry, it's nothing that crazy. I dealt with a lot of text recovery from cell phones involving self-harm. No pictures or anything, but recovering like deleted photos. It wasn't anything crazy. It was just a bunch of school fights and stuff like that is what I mostly dealt with. But still, it was forensic using some of these tools. But it's what you'll be using. It's still used in the field mostly. They're just newer versions of those tools, if that makes sense. And unfortunately, they want like 15 grand a license for these tools that we do not have as a college, and the publisher doesn't want to play ball. So quite honestly, this might be the last semester I use this book, and I'll migrate to something else next semester that can give me labs that we can actually use and make you guys feel a little bit more like a digital investigator. And you get the feel of it. So week 1 is intro to digital forensics. You have an activity and reflection, a discussion. Then week 2 is careers in digital forensics. I just want to get that out of the way first. So you can see like, hey, here's where we can branch out to. Then after that, it's hands-on. Get your hands dirty. If you're comfortable installing software, you're going to need to. If you're using a Mac or anything else, please let me know so I can find a workaround for you, because you do need a Windows computer for this class, okay? So just making that clear. But everything, like I said, is outlined here in our weeks. Week 4, there's our midterm right there under these, after these labs. The labs are not heavy for week 4. I did that on purpose because week 3 is so heavy. Week 3 is like the peak of the mountain, you go up here, you start here, you go middle, the peak where it's all the stuff you kind of need to get your hands on. Then after that, we kind of descend back down to week 8 into final, and then you're ready to rock and roll. So should be pretty straightforward. And like I said, it's all in here. Oh, careers is week 7. My bad. Week 2 is I was thinking about week 2 differently. That was a different class. My apologies. Week 2 is more to think like an investigator. I have to get you into that brain mode of how like to look at things to a magnifying glass per se. Like every little detail matters in essence. But I will get to that. I'm still building it actually, but it'll be done by this Saturday. I just have to record it, upload it, make this activities. It won't be too crazy, and that'll be about it. Um, that's essentially how this class kind of runs. Homework policies there, late policies there. Like I said, the only thing I cannot extend are midterms or finals. But I get it, life does happen, but I will need some kind of proof. Not to be mean, a lot of family members seem to pass away around those times. I don't know why. I'm not picking at anybody, but there's got to be a little give and take here. You got to be honest with me, but if you have any kind of DSPS accommodation, please send me it via email, and I will do my best to accommodate you. Does anybody have any questions for me at all so far? Yeah, everyone's quiet, good, honky dory. So, okay, a little bit about office hours here. My office hours are Fridays in the morning from 7:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Keep in mind, I am at work. This is literally, I'm in my office right now because I work swing shift most of the week. Friday is when I work early in the morning, so that's when I have my office hours. I mean, so stop by. They'll be open. You don't need to make an appointment or anything. That's what it says. It's just I have to have that for context. But again, I'm always there no matter what, even though I'm maybe running around campus fixing things because I work at another college, oddly enough. Um, just sit tight and give me like 5 minutes to get back into my chair, and I will be right with you and give you all the time in the world you need. So that's essentially all I really have. Does everything make sense so far? Does something else need to be clarified? Anybody? Because y'all want to type in the chat, that's fine. Y'all want to mute, that's perfectly fine. I'm pretty easy going with this stuff. Anybody got anything? Yeah, I did mention that. Midterm is week 4. So let me explain a little more then. Week 4 midterm covers units 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's it. It's not going to cover unit 5, 6, 7, and 8. That's all for the final. So I split it in half. And the final is not going to be comprehensive. You're not going to get anything from units 1 through 4. Does that make sense? Yeah, I don't want to make it too heavy because I know some classes, right? That we review all the material just for a final. Yeah, it's like why? Like you covered that in the beginning, and not to be mean. Heck, I mean, I don't remember things I did 3 weeks ago, right? Like it's a lot of stuff to take in, especially with more than one class. It's a lot to cover. Yes, there will be some overlap with some other classes for terminology. That's fine, but it doesn't really work that way. Well, I'm on the topic. AI. I don't know if you saw it under where is it here? Should be under academic honesty. See, please be aware that using AI generated content, whether for answers, submissions, or any grade assignment will lead to a score of a zero. You do it more than once, I catch you because I will catch you. There's no way around that. We will be talking to some deans, and that's not fun. And I'm warning you guys, I'm not to be mean. I've had to do it before. It gets awkward because then the student pleads their case. I have a blank look on my face. They say, "Oh, there's no evidence against me because I didn't cheat." Then I show literally something pasted from the exam that says this was AI generated content that the student pasted in where it says it. It's like you kind of did this to yourself. So just saying, right? Like I don't want to be the bad guy, but rules are rules, laws are laws, right? Yeah, the recall is not to be mean. Like you have a million things rattling on your head. It could be like CTIS-12, you can server. You could be taking administration 17. You could be taking well, I don't know, cybersecurity 101 hypothetically, right? And then this, it's like what's what in the beginning. Like I get it. So recall can be kind of a pain, but I mean that's literally all there is to orientation here, guys. Like I don't really have much else to show you other than the syllabus. It's pretty easy, right? You can go through it anytime you like and it's there. Well, I should tell you how this works, right? Because class started on Monday, correct? So it goes from assignments are going to be due, other than two, they have to be due by Friday because it's just a school thing. Everything else will be due Monday next week. But normally my weeks run Sunday to Sunday. So what does that mean? Unit 2 will be posted this Sunday. Everything will be due the following Sunday. And that's how it'll just keep going until we're done in 8 weeks. Because before you know it, it'll be week 4. I guarantee you weeks are going to fly. So does that make sense? Is that clear? Is it not, concise, clear as mud, something around that ballpark? I remember. Uh, Let me put it to you this way, because I cannot tell you to buy the book, but if you can Google pretty hard, I'm sure you can find it. Does that make sense? But you do need the book. So yeah, use your Google foo and see if you can find it. That's all I got to say on that topic. But yes, the book is required, physical or digital, whatever you prefer. To be honest with you, just a side thing about books and me. Normally, books are required unless I tell you, and the reason being is some books are optional. It's just for you to build a library because let's face it, a lot of the stuff it's a lot to take in, no matter what it is, and sometimes you got to reference it even back further in time. So just having a library of technical books, I have a whole library, not here, but in my main office, my sub office, at my other campus. I have books upon books from like server from 2012 all the way to now, because sometimes the old ways are best, right? Sometimes an old command works versus a new command just stares at you and says, "No, I can't do that. I have sufficient rights or whatnot, or what have you." So just keep that in mind. That's more kind of to have in your back pocket. But if that's all I got for orientation, guys. If nobody has any questions, you feel like you got everything answered, you're free to go. If not, unmute yourself and ask me the question or pop it into chat and I will do my best to answer it. What do you have on like a Chromebook or something? And yeah, Diego, we can set something up later. iPad. Ooh, for this class, that's gonna be kind of hard, man. A lot of this software doesn't run on an iPad. To be frank, it has to be used on a Windows laptop. See if you can acquire a loaner from the school, but you might run into some issues because you're gonna need to install this stuff. So that's gonna be a little tricky. but we can probably think of something. I think. Is there a laptop you can borrow or a desktop at home you can use? So I know the school does have loaner laptops, but I know they come locked down pretty heavily. Oof. Okay. How late next month? I don't know. Okay. We'll have to think of something then. At least there's a workaround in the meantime. Like I said, see if you can borrow one from school. Maybe they'll give you some rights to install stuff on it if you explain the situation. Until you get one that can get you by, is kind of the hope here. But again, I can make exceptions. We can figure something out. So just keep me informed, and we'll go from there. So give that a shot. See if you can borrow one, and we go from there. Okay? And you are most welcome. Alberto, you got anything for me? Or am I just gonna be the floating head here? Oh, okay. You should be fine. Right here.